It is the fourth hour of a live edition of Three Man Front here on Black Friday. A lot of rivalry games already gone to halftime, including over in Starkville, Mississippi, where the Ole Miss Rebels, they lead Mississippi State 21-10 as the Rebels jumped out 14 points in the first quarter. Things kind of settled in for both teams. Missed field goal by Ole Miss set up a Mississippi State answer of a touchdown, and then they kicked the field goal in the second quarter. So it's 21-10 right now as the Ole Miss Rebels lead Mississippi State. Ole Miss, 310 yards of total offense. So they're on pace for a 600-yard day offensively. Mississippi State, they have gone for 234. Kewan Lacey, 14 carries for 74 yards. His longest was a 31-yard touchdown run. Meanwhile, Mississippi State, like I said, 234 yards of offense so far for Mississippi State up against the Rebels. So much talk about what's going to happen potentially after the game. Ole Miss released a statement a couple weeks ago saying that it was going to be Saturday before an announcement was made on the future of Lane Kiffin. He will meet with the media immediately following the Egg Bowl. That is customary. I'm sure people like Trey Wallace, our Wednesday guest here on Three Man Front, he is there in Starkville. I'm sure he's going to have a question about the future. Everyone in the state of Louisiana holding their breath right now, what's going to happen, because they feel confident that Lane Kiffin ultimately will be the next head coach of the Bengal Tigers. Meanwhile, on the Auburn front, everyone keeps wanting and waiting to see what is going to happen with John Sumrall, the Tulane head coach. Well, Pete Thamel this morning, he tweeted that John Sumrall will make a decision Sunday morning. He has got offers on the table for the University of Florida, and obviously not sure if there is an official offer from Auburn, but he has most definitely been Auburn's main target by John Cohen. Chris Lowe tweeted out from On3 saying even during the Lane Kiffin courtship, Sumrall has remained on Florida's radar, and as everything starts to clear, a deal could come together quickly with the Gators. FootballScoop.com reported that Urban Meyer has called John Sumrall on behalf of the University of Florida. So, kind of get you up to date on where we are in the wonderful world of the coaching carousel. And joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline as we're one step closer to the state playoffs that will take place at Protective Stadium in downtown Birmingham from Starnes Media, our good friend Kyle Parmley joins us now on Three Man Front. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, Kyle.
Yeah, it was great. Just got back from out in Las Vegas. Took in some.
Yeah, I saw this picture, and knowing that you were in Las Vegas, you did not text me asking if I needed anything wagered at one of those sports books. So I was very disappointed that I did not get a text.
Yeah, it was that place is a lot to take in for a first timer like myself. There is no shortage of things going on out there.
So how much money did you win?
None.
What?
Listen, guys. I don't know if you've never listened to my advice on picks, because they're not worth anything. They're worth the paper they're printed on. I'm notoriously horrible at predicting things.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's a great segue to our next segment about high school football and who you think is going to be successful this weekend. But let's do it anyway. All right, so let's start. The 7A is already in the books. That will be played next week as the surprise team in 7A, Opelika, who was down 21-6 to the Hewitt Huskies midway through the third quarter just a couple of weeks ago. They beat Baker. Then they follow that up by knocking off their rival Auburn, who was using a backup quarterback who happened to be Rob Pate's son, who I believe is a sophomore. They win that game, and now they're playing Thompson, who had to hold on against Central Phoenix City. That was a heck of a game last week.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty cool to see. You mentioned that Opelika team. Wouldn't necessarily have penciled them into the state championship game about a month ago. But this, the Central Thompson game was just one for the ages. I'd kind of quit paying attention to it. I was out, covering Clay Chalkville's playoff game last Friday night and saw that Thompson was up a couple scores late in the game, and just kind of took for granted that Thompson was going to go on and put it away. And then you look, well, Central has made this comeback and has made it a game. They scored a touchdown in the final minute, and head coach Patrick Nix decided he went all in, and he went for the 2-point conversion to win the game. And if you watch the video of the play worked. You know, they leaked a receiver out into the flats, and the play was open, but a Thompson defender made a heck of a play to recover and make the tackle a couple of yards short of the goal line. So Thompson wins a thriller there in the semis, and they're into the state championship game for what is it, 8 years in a row now they've been there. So you know, Thompson just they're on a string of dominance right now, and you would have to pencil them in as the early favorite in 7-8 over this Opelika team because Opelika lost to Central 42-6 late in the regular season. So I'm sure they'll put it all out there and see what they can do. But Thompson definitely the heavy favorite in 7A going into the Super 7 next week. But yeah, 1 through 6A semifinals tonight. So I'm gonna hit the road here shortly and head to that Clay Chalkville Muscle Shoals game.
Well, that's a perfect segue, Kyle, because that's exactly where I was going to go and get your thoughts on that one. So I got to see Muscle Shoals up close and personal last week as they took down Mountain Brook in the quarterfinal round. But yeah, they're going up against a Clay Chalkville team that is a team we saw beat Thompson earlier this year, one of the very best in the state. So what are you looking forward to in this matchup tonight in Muscle Shoals?
Yeah, no, this is two undefeated teams. Conrad, you saw this Muscle Shoals team last week. Um, the way that they beat Mountain Brook, I mean, the score doesn't say massive blowout, but the way that Muscle Shoals just didn't allow Mountain Brook to do anything. It was about as convincing as a 24-7 game can be. We know how Mountain Brook has it. They love to run the football. They'll do it against anybody, any day, anytime. And Muscle Shoals decided that Mountain Brook was not going to run the football against them, and they shut that down. And Mountain Brook just really didn't have many answers beyond that. So this Muscle Shoals team, a really impressive win last week. They followed up that win over Parker in the second round with another impressive performance last week. And to beat this Clay Chalkville team tonight, Muscle Shoals will have to put forth its best effort of the season because it's the Clay Chalkville team that, against Homewood last week, you thought Homewood had some opportunities to do some things. And Homewood honestly started the game a lot faster than Clay did in the first quarter especially. But once Clay Chalkville settled into the ball game, it was evident that Clay's defense kind of put the clamps down, and Homewood had a hard time consistently slowing down Clay's offense. So, like we've said all year long, Clay Chalk was a team on a mission. They really just haven't had many letdowns. They're 13-0. Not many of them have been close, outside of that Thompson game in the middle of the season. And this is the site where Clay Chalkville got put out last year in the second round. And, they don't want to, harp on it too much. We asked head coach Stuart Floyd about it, after the game last week, if there was any, anything extra about going back up there to where their season came to an end last year. And you could tell it definitely is factoring into the prep. But Clay Chalkville knows if they go up there and play the way that they played most of the season, they should be able to come out on top and make it back to the state championship game.
Well, speaking of who potentially could be on the other side of the bracket in 6A, I know you don't cover Saraland. Benjamin Russell's right down the road, but that should be a good one tonight between Saraland and Benjamin Russell.
Yeah, I mean, the way Benjamin Russell has had their sort of resurgence here under first-year coach Kirk Johnson has been really cool to see, and just even further solidifies what a lot of people already knew, and just how good of a coach he is. They've got their hands full tonight. This Saraland team has not played many close games all year long. The one thing that worries me a little bit about Saraland, they're not quite as dominant as maybe they have been in the last several years. But that defense has started to allow some points here in the playoffs, especially. I mean, they're giving up around a little bit less than 30 points a game in their 3 playoff games to this point. So if Benjamin Russell can get the offense rolling, you might be in for a little bit of a shootout in this game. Otherwise, if Saraland makes it back to the state championship, I mean, Clay Chalkville and Saraland have pretty much been 1-2 all year in 6A. And a rematch of that state championship game 2 years ago between Clay and Saraland, with Jalen Mbakwe and Ryan Williams squaring off, that was one for the ages. And if we got a rematch of that next week, I wouldn't be surprised, and it would kind of be fitting for the way that the season has gone for both of those teams.
All right, Kyle, let's move down a classification. Let's go to 5A because you got 2 games going on there tonight. Let's start off Scottsboro and Moody. What can you tell us about this game going on in the 5A classification?
Yeah, well, there's only a couple of teams left in the playoffs from the Birmingham area, and both of them are on long road trips tonight. If you wanted to go catch a semifinal game in Birmingham tonight, you're going to have to travel, no matter which direction you go. So, yeah, you mentioned Moody headed to Scottsboro. Moody, Briarwood gave him a little bit of trouble last week. Moody ends up pulling away, winning by 30, but I think the game was a little bit closer than that score indicates. And yeah, but on the same end, like Moody has been, terrific all season long. I would think that they're in good shape tonight to, if they play their game, they are the favorite against Scottsboro. Scottsboro's had a great run, great season, and I think if Scottsboro were to win, it would be their first time, ever making it to the state championship game. Moody got that distinction last year with their first appearance in the title game, and they'll try to make it two in a row. But yeah, Moody Scottsboro, I think Moody is the better team in this matchup. But either way, on the other side of that 5A bracket, a couple of Mobile area teams, Viger and Williamson are playing, and yeah, that game will be that'll be an incredible football game. Both of those teams are as good as they get, and Williamson made the news earlier this season by being the team to put up a 100 spot
Ooh.
in a game. If y'all remember that the scoreline against Murphy, they beat them 100-0. So Williamson's really good. I think I've had some people tell me that they are the best team in 5A at various points of the season. So that'll be a great game. If Moody gets back to the title game, they'll have their hands full as well.
All right, so I have to ask you because he's wearing his Maplesville baseball shirt today. Maplesville's got a big game as Damian Mitchell's alma mater, as they're playing in the state semifinals. Do you have the scouting report? Have you looked at the film of Maplesville? What kind of chance they got tonight?
So oddly enough, I actually talked to somebody that lives in Maplesville about this game last weekend, and the matchup here is incredible because if you look at Leroy and Maplesville's, like if you compare their stats for the year side by side, it's uncanny how similar they are. I mean, they're averaging the same number of points, and there's just all these numbers that are almost identical. Now, the thing where that Maplesville has the edge, Maplesville's given up like 27 points the whole season. I don't know how that's possible in high school football, but they've only allowed a point in 3 games this year, and they're on a string of, 7 shutouts in a row? So I don't know what they've got cooking down there, but Maplesville is allowing 2.1 points per game this season.
That is amazing.
So it's unbelievable. So they're coming into this game 7 straight games without allowing a point. But yeah, it's really cool that I guess Damian would have more knowledge about this, but they have like a big Thanksgiving night pep rally. Anytime that the football team is still in the playoffs, so they get the whole community together and have a big time. So yeah, I mean honestly, that's one of the closest games to Birmingham tonight is Leroy at Maplesville, 2 unbeaten teams in 1A, going for a right to the state championship game. That would honestly be a whole lot of fun if you could make it down there.
All right, Kyle, as we wrap up the season, we know, certain awards and things like that are going to be handed out. So for this year with Mr. Football here in the state of Alabama, can you kind of just tell our listeners who maybe some of the front runners are and who, if you wanted to put a name in there that you think will be the ultimate winner, just kind of what direction is that award headed in? Because if I remember correctly, it was KJ Lacey last year from Saraland that was the recipient.
Yeah, the thing about it, typically in a season, I could easily, give you 3 or 4 names from the Birmingham area that have been like, far and beyond better than everybody they play, and they're in the mix. And this year, I mean, you honestly look at it, and there's so many really good football players. But the guy that I keep coming back to, that it might finally be his chance to win one of these, is Thompson quarterback Trent Seaborn. I mean, the way that, you kind of just forget and you don't notice maybe how good he is because he's been playing since he was in middle school, and we've just gotten used to him being the quarterback of this Thompson team. But and there's a ton of talent around him, so maybe you take it for granted a little bit. But I will tell you, the way that the season that he's put together, he continues to get better and better. He's got that Alabama commitment tag on him now, so everybody's kind of wondering, like, is this guy good enough to play for Alabama? And I think with what he's put out on tape this year, the answer is certainly yes. So that's the name I keep coming back to. I mean, there's so many really good players, especially in our area, that have had outstanding years. I mean, you talk about Clay Chalk receiver Corey Barber. You look at a couple of quarterbacks like Spain Park quarterback Brock Bradley, and even Homewood's quarterback Caleb Carson. Just guys that have really, really had outstanding seasons. But I don't think there's a runaway favorite. I think that's going to be a really interesting discussion that the Sports Writers Association has to have when it comes to awarding that this year. There's definitely no slam dunk.
Well, Kyle, we will definitely try to catch up with you sometime next week because it's all going to get started on Wednesday as we've got girls flag football going on at 11 at 3 o'clock. And then that night, 7A will be the first classification in which they will crown a winner. And then on Thursday, it'll be 3A, 1A, and 5A. And then on Friday, next week at this time, it'll be 4A, 2A, and 6A, as it will be a very busy week down at Protective Stadium. So enjoy the games tonight, and hopefully we can grab you one day next week, and we'll give it a little preview of what the championships are going to look like.
Yeah, guys. I mean, you mentioned it. I'll give you one more thing to kind of hang your hat on. The two flag football championships are set for next week, and that 6A, 7A game, Central out of Phoenix City is riding some crazy nearly 60-game winning streak. They've won it the last couple years. And then they're playing a Vestavia team that might be the only one in the state that can give them a game. So if you're looking for something to do on Wednesday before that 7A championship game at 3 o'clock, that Central versus Vestavia Hills flag football game, that's going to be a pretty intense one as far as that goes.
And not to mention the fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think Central Phoenix City is one of the top-ranked teams in the country in girls flag football. Not just here in the state of Alabama, but one of the best teams in the country. So
yeah, they were awarded the one of the national championship awards last year. They had a couple of players get to go participate in NFL Pro Bowl activities last season. So they've got a great thing going down there with Mitchell Holt running the show. They've been the premier program as far as flag football goes in its inception from the last few years here in the state of Alabama.
That is Kyle Parmley from Starnes Media. Kyle, enjoy the games tonight, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. That's Kyle Parmley joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions on the Higginbotham Hotline. It's brought to you each and every week by Higginbotham as your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. We have an update from Starkville that is now 21-13 as Mississippi State has kicked a field goal to cut into the lead with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. We'll update that, continue to read your text, give you some coaching updates, all that straight ahead on 3 Man Front. So, since Wednesday, we've been following the Auburn situation, and we told you Wednesday that it definitely was trending more towards DJ Durkin. Justin Hokanson, who is the senior Auburn reporter for auburnsports.com, posted this a few minutes ago. Sources indicate strongly that things are definitely trending away from Auburn right now and John Sumrall. If Auburn wants to salvage the situation, it will take John Cohen making it happen. Nothing is final, but right now things are on shaky ground in terms of Auburn and Sumrall.
Well, if you listen to the show on Wednesday, that's not a big surprise to you.
No, shouldn't be. I mean, we heard on Wednesday that it definitely had swung the other way. We didn't say that it was for sure going to be DJ Durkin.
Nothing's definite.
No, never is when in these coaching searches. But just the constant drumbeat of Sumrall, all of a sudden it switched to DJ Durkin.
And it would just be very interesting. And who knows, we may never get, the real answer to it. But, you brought up something a few moments ago that I thought it laid it out very well, right? In the instance of, if you're Florida and you're offering John Sumrall the opportunity to sign a contract, be your head coach, and have complete and full authority over your coaching staff and all the decisions going on with that program, versus an Auburn where maybe they're telling you who they would like for you to have on your staff. Not saying that one of those things is necessarily better than the other, but maybe that is potentially the thing that pushes you towards Florida over Auburn, is you want that decision-making power. And if you don't, maybe that's what pushes you towards Auburn. So it's going to be very interesting next couple of days.
I am just assessing the field, and I'm just telling you what I think just with my experience and based on the reporting done by numerous people today, just reading between the lines, it seems like to me that John Sumrall in Florida probably a little bit farther down the line in regards to a potential contract. Not saying that Auburn's dead in the water on the John Sumrall, because John Cohen has had probably multiple conversations with John Sumrall and his representation. But based on John Bryce, footballscoop.com, based on Chris Lowe, Pete Thamel, you just heard what I read from Justin Hokanson. We read what Nathan King had to say. It seems like there's the potential there that it could be someone besides John Sumrall. Besides John Sumrall at Auburn.
So if it is DJ Durkin, if that is ultimately the guy that they decide to hire, this is kind of a hypothetical here, do you think they will announce something in the next 29 hours before the Iron Bowl starts? Or not? Because we both said we think they should, because that way, if you lose the Iron Bowl, you're out in front of it, and if you win, it's not called a knee-jerk reaction hire. So do you think that they will make that announcement if DJ Durkin is the guy?
I believe so, yes. And there's a couple lines of thought there. Mainly, you don't want to go in the Iron Bowl. I mean, Auburn could win. And it would be, hooray, we've got John Sumrall. We've got DJ Durkin long term. But you can also lose. And if you're waiting until Sunday, that might be kind of a tough pill for some Auburn folks to swallow.
Especially if it were to come out that maybe John Sumrall signed a deal with Florida, and then you followed that with, well, we're hiring DJ Durkin.
Yeah.
And we just finished 5-7.
And we said this on Wednesday. I mean, this is nothing that we're just creating on a Friday. We said this on Wednesday, that if it is going to be DJ Durkin, then they needed to go ahead and name him. Like today. Like tonight at their team meeting. Send out a press release. It's done. Or do it tomorrow morning. But it needs to happen before the game. Because if you go into the Iron Bowl and you're rolling the dice that you beat Alabama and you're almost a touchdown underdog in your own building against a really good Alabama team, you're asking a lot.
Well, I just wonder how many Auburn fans feel like Bryant, who just texted in on the courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450, if you'd like to hop on and interact with us here on the show. This is what Bryant writes in. I'm an Auburn fan. I think Durkin's a great DC, but Sumrall is a proven winner everywhere that he's been. Go and get him with no stipulations on who he hires. Wouldn't it just be the most Auburn thing to simply promote Durkin to head coach? It shows Auburn just isn't serious about winning anymore. We're going to let Summerall get away and be successful at Florida while DJ Durkin flounders at Auburn for a few years because he's not a head coach. It's sickening. I didn't trust the Auburn leadership to get this right, and they are proving that they are incapable. It's a very harsh critique from an Auburn fan.
Well, just like in any coaching search, it is never over until things are signed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've even had cases in the Southeastern Conference where there's been press conferences. Glenn Mason was the head coach at Kansas, and he accepted the Georgia job. And then decided to go back to Kansas.
I was about to say, tell somebody that this year. Oh, yeah, the Kansas coach decided to stay. Lance Leipold was offered the Georgia job, and he said, no, I'm going to stay here in Kansas.
So, I mean, Mike Riley accepted the Alabama job. They were ready to have the press conference the very next day. Like he agreed upon the night before, the next morning after. Paul and I got phone calls, press conference day in Tuscaloosa. And then while Paul and I were on the phone with each other, Paul got a call. I'm not going to mention who the person was, but Paul got a phone call. And in that phone call, they said that Mike Riley, because of his wife, did not want to move to Tuscaloosa. Nothing against Tuscaloosa. She just was someone from, obviously not from Alabama, and that just was not something that she wanted to do. And so he got cold feet and decided not to take the Alabama job. And they ultimately coached at Molly's alma mater.
And the New Jersey Generals.
So it's never over.
No, it's not.
I mean,
I think especially in this year of all things, you would feel pretty confident saying.
You had George O'Leary take the Notre Dame job, and they found out he lied on his resume. And they took the job away from him.
Wouldn't think you'd get that far before you found that out, but anyways.
It was a different time.
I know.
A lot different now.
A little easier to fact check now.
So even if it appears that somebody is going to, okay, they got the job. I mean, a prime example. Would it shock anybody in this room if Lane Kiffin said, I'm going to LSU?
I knew you were going there.
And the LSU plane shows up on the tarmac in Oxford to pick him and his family up.
And he doesn't show up?
And he doesn't show up, or he just basically said, I'm not going.
Yep.
I'm staying here. Would not shock anybody.
Or for him to accept the LSU job and, a week from now, Texas isn't making the playoffs and Steve Sarkisian says, I'm going to take the Titans job. And then Lane Kiffin goes, well, I want that Texas job now. Sorry, LSU.
Yeah.
Nothing, particularly with Lane Kiffin, nothing would surprise me at this point. I'm just fascinated to see what the ultimate resolution is going to be.
Well, he is right now, if I'm doing the math right, he's about 21 minutes away from punching Ole Miss's first ever ticket to the college football playoff. They're currently up 24-13, a little over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ole Miss has kicked a field goal here in the third quarter. And so the Rebels find themselves up by 11 with 5 minutes and some change before the fourth quarter. So we'll see what happens in the post-game presser with Lane Kiffin and the media, because I got a feeling many of them are going to have plenty of things to talk about. A lot of questions to ask Lane Kiffin. It was interesting. We told you all about a fight that happened on the field before the end of the first half. And on the radio broadcast, Lane Kiffin says the following about the bench clearing brawl. He says, we try to execute and play really good football for a whole sideline to try to fight and leave their whole sideline, including their athletic director. I just didn't like it. End of quote. So if this is Lane's last Egg Bowl, he is most definitely calling them out before the game about people stealing.
I don't like the way
jersey.
These people act in the state of Mississippi. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's go to Louisiana.
Yeah. So we'll keep you updated on what's going on over in Stark Vegas as the Egg Bowl rolls on. Don't forget, you got Georgia and Georgia Tech in about an hour from now. Then tonight in primetime, Texas and Texas A&M, our teammate Greg McElroy will be on the call for that game down in Austin, Texas. I've been telling you every single day about APS, and APS has this poly-level system. So if you're having foundation problems or you're looking to tackle an uneven driveway or a patio, this fast and clean poly-level system, it can level everything up for you by simply calling APS at 205-951-9717. Because if you're seeing cracks in your foundation, if your doors and windows are sticking, these aren't just minor problems. These are big-time problems that are going to get worse over time if you don't call APS. 205-951-9717. Go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. APS has been protecting Alabama homes since 1977. They'll protect yours too. More three-man front on this Friday, Black Friday on Jocks. It is 1:35 on this Black Friday. Are you guys going to go take advantage of some great Black Friday deals? Or are you just going to do Cyber Monday?
I haven't been Black Friday shopping in years, now that I think about it.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately now, I mean, you can just go on Amazon or whatever, and you can get most of the Black Friday deals online. So yeah, I enjoy doing that
Cyber Monday?
from the comfort of my home. Yeah, there's actually some really good ones right now on Amazon if you just do that online. But Monday, very good day for that as well.
Well, if you are out Black Friday shopping, or if you maybe need a break from the madness, you should go and check out Big Whiskey's because they have great food of all varieties with a full menu with apps, salads, burgers, and steaks. They also have plenty of screens so you can catch all the college football, the rivalry weekend action going on both tonight and tomorrow. The kitchen is also open late. They also have happy hour in the afternoons and late nights. So go see them in the Stadium Trace Village off 459 at Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
Update from Lincoln, Nebraska. Right now, Iowa leads Nebraska 26-16, 6:03 to go in the third. Meanwhile, Egg Bowl Over in Stark Vegas, it's 24-13 Ole Miss. They have the ball against Mississippi State. Speaking of Ole Miss, Neil McCready, who covers the Ole Miss Rebels for Ole Miss 247, he put this behind the paywall just a couple minutes ago. He says there's a lot of talk today in college football circles that Florida and John Sumrall are way down the road on a deal. I don't think it's done, but I'm hearing it's fairly close. Florida wants to get it done quickly, per my source. And the reason why Neil McCready is writing about John Sumrall, because there's a strong indication from Ole Miss people. They believe that this will be the final game that Lane Kiffin is given the opportunity to coach. So John Sumrall, who used to coach at Ole Miss, was supposedly going to be one of the top candidates for that job. Auburn has been all over John Sumrall. And now we understand that Florida has been very aggressive with John Sumrall over the course of the last week or so. So that's why an Ole Miss writer is writing about that. Let's finish the week with some Pat Ponders. It's brought to you each and every day by Courtesy GMC in Trussville.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC. You've been hearing me all month of November talk about the Black Friday sales event, because it's been going on all month, not just today. But you need to get by there, because today is the day that not only are you going to get the best deals regardless of what's happening in the month of November, but also if you just mentioned that it was my birthday this week, Drew Lawley and that staff, they're going to give you an extra $1,000 off a brand new GMC by simply saying it was Pat Smith's birthday. So I got to say, and they're going to give you another $1,000 off. They're incredible deals on Acadias, AT4s, Sierra, Canyons, HDs, you name it, Yukons. They're going to give you that discount. So go by and see them right there off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville. Question number 1. Vegas has set Ty Simpson passing yards at 276 and the Tide team rushing yards at 88. So 276 for Ty throwing, 88 rushing for the team. Which will go over in tomorrow night's game? Or you could say both. Will it be the passing of 276 or the rushing of 88?
Definitely don't feel good about the rushing attack. I think this game, it reminds me, when you look at Alabama's offense versus the Auburn defense, it reminds me a lot of the Oklahoma game. And as we saw in that game, right, Alabama was able to pass the ball quite well. They were able to run the ball okay as well, at least by their standards. But yeah, I'll go over on Ty. Because I think that's the part of the game that matches up really, really well for Alabama. And in order for them to win the game, I would think he's probably going to have more than 266 yards.
I'd also hit the over on Ty, and I liked your comparison to the Oklahoma game because I'm also not feeling very confident in the run game going into this one for Alabama. So, and what was the number for Ty? 2-something?
276.
Yeah, I'd go over for that.
So over 276, but under rushing for both
under.
of y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say rushing is probably about 70, 75.
Okay. Question number 2. Which will be shown more during the ABC broadcasts tomorrow night at the Iron Bowl? Will it be the Kick Six or the Gravedigger?
I'm going to say the Gravedigger, but just because it happened the last time they played in Jordan-Hare. So you're going to get both of them, but I think the Gravedigger because it was the last time these two teams played in Auburn.
See, I agree. I think you'll get both, but the Gravedigger more because it was the last time, like you said, they played in Jordan-Hare.
And then according to Don, next year we'll have the Pick Six, as it's referred to, that will be played on loop for years to come.
So you can just change your T-shirts.
That's right.
There you go.
Just Pick Six.
Like what the Browns used to do with all their quarterback jerseys. You can just do that, but with a pick instead of a kick.
Question number 3. This will be Chris Fowler's first ever broadcast from Jordan-Hare Stadium. He's never called a game from Jordan-Hare. This will be Kirk Herbstreit's first trip for a game since 2010. So it's been 15 years since he's been there.
Wow.
Holly Rowe, first time she's been there since 2019. So it got me thinking, what would be your dream broadcast team of living announcers and sideline reporter for an Iron Bowl broadcast? So you can go any network, put any people together to call the game. I need an announcer, color, and a sideline. Who would you want? Anybody that's living.
Oh. I'm going to go. So in the booth, this is going to sound real homer of me. I'm going to go in the booth. I'm going to go Kirk and Greg McElroy. And then I'll put Cole on the sideline. I think it would be real. I really do. It would be really cool for them. And I know that people, of course, you'll work with them. It would be really cool to see an Alabama and an Auburn guy both get to do it. And I think they both are excellent at their jobs and what role they play on their respective broadcast. So, yeah, I think Herb Street does. We can make fun of him and his social media and his dog all we want. He is excellent in the booth. So, yeah, give me Herb Street, McElroy, and Kublik.
So you got 2 analysts in the booth and then the sideline reporter.
Yep.
See, I would put Cole and Greg in the booth. So you have
I like that. That's
the
not a bad
Auburn
idea.
and Alabama rep. And then for sideline reporter, I'd put Holly Rowe.
Okay. Next question. There was a lively debate online last weekend about who should be considered the national voice of college football. Some folks were saying it's Joel Klatt. Others were saying Kirk Herbstreit. I'm just telling you, that was the debate.
And I don't even hate Joel Klatt, but I'm like,
I'm just.
sorry. The guy that's never been to an SEC football game in his entire life?
That is correct.
Okay,
But
sorry.
that's been the debate.
I know. Sorry, Pat.
But he calls Big Ten football. And Big Ten football is the best football as we're watching over our left shoulder.
I think of Gus Johnson way before I think of Joel Klatt in terms of Big Ten broadcast. Just saying.
But that legitimately was a discussion that I could not believe that Joel Klatt was getting as much ballyhoo that he was. So that's the question.
Who's the voice of college football?
Who's the national voice of college football?
It's Herbie until as long as he is employed at ESPN, he will be the voice of college football.
And I mean, think about how long he's been on game day. He's been a staple in college football for how many years now? Long
Since
time.
he was a baby.
And again, I don't hate Joel Klatt. It's just they're in completely different stratospheres in terms of where they stand in the hierarchy of college football.
I've said this before. I think Joel Klatt is an excellent college football analyst.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When Joel Klatt is not in the booth, he's a complete clown.
Oh yeah, listening to, podcast and when he's on, with Coward and stuff, but again, he's paid by Fox to pump up the Big Ten and talk about how awful the SEC is. So he does his job very well.
Yep. All right, the 5th and final question brought to you courtesy of BB. Trump is building a big, beautiful ballroom at the White House. Have you ever attended a high-class, tuxedo-required event at a large venue? Where, when, what was the occasion?
I'm trying to remember if I had to wear a tuxedo or not. I mean, the closest thing I've gotten to like what I would consider a fancy ball, and I'm obviously not considering weddings.
Yeah.
Like the only ballroom that I've ever danced in is at the club downtown. But that's a little different maybe than what we're talking about here. I mean, you have to dress up nice for that, but nothing that involves a tuxedo.
See, the only thing I can think of is I've been to a really nice black tie wedding before that was in an art museum where the men had to wear tuxes and all the women had to wear these, I was a kid when I went. That's the only thing I can really think of.
Well, when we went to dinner with Paul in Atlanta, y'all told me it was, black tie event. So I rented a tuxedo and showed up, and then they were wearing jeans.
And you look great.
Kind of stood out amongst the crowd, but I felt very dapper.
Paul wearing the tank top was a little awkward.
Well, that really threw some people off. When people started calling me Mr. Feinbaum, it was a little awkward, and we had to correct that pretty quickly. But
you guys do look a lot alike.
That is what I have been told by you.
By you. By you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really trying to think. Can you, I'm sure you've been at something in your prestigious career where you had to go and wear a tuxedo.
Yeah, there's been a couple. We had a roast for Paul Feinbaum where Joe Namath was the MC.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about that. Yep.
So that was a black tie event. Ladies would wear after 5 dresses, cocktail dresses, stuff like that. He has a couple of awards ceremonies I've been to. Had to wear a tux, that kind of thing.
See, I was about to say, did anybody wear? I'm sure somebody did, but like we don't. I mean, we dress up and we look nice at the Abbeys, but I don't remember people wearing tuxedos for that specifically. I'll be honest with you. If I don't have to dress up real nice,
We know.
I'm not. I'm not gonna do it.
Molly from the top rope.
So
Have you seen his shoes?
Hey, Molly, it was raining. It was a horrible day Tuesday, and he's wearing open-toe shoes to the restaurant.
Despicable.
It's not raining inside. I'm only outside for like 30 seconds. I will say, so yesterday, so, you know,
Did you actually put real shoes on when you go to Thanksgiving?
Well, hang on. So we had two families to go with yesterday because we were with Paige's mom's side of the family in the morning and then her dad's side of the family in the afternoon. So in between that, we went back home to let the dog out, you know, feed him, stuff like that. And my wife tells me, oh, you can change. We had already taken pictures and stuff. She goes, you can change if you want to. So I change into sweatpants and a hoodie and Birkenstocks to go to her family's Thanksgiving. And of course we show up and I'm thinking, well, by this time everybody will have changed into a different pair of clothes, things like that. Nope. I showed up and I was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie and her entire family was dressed up like they had just gotten out of church.
I'm not surprised at all.
Hey, I've got some like brand new Birkenstocks still in the box. Do you want them?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. Like I've had them. Never been worn. Like they're in the box.
Why do you have those?
I forgot somewhere, sometime. I think we had some type of advertiser, a deal or something. And in lieu of
more open-toed shoes for you,
getting payment, I think I got some.
I will 100% wear those every day, Pat.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I mean, they're just sitting in my closet.
Yeah, no,
in a box.
Yeah, if you don't want them, I'll take them for sure.
That is today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. You get by there this weekend and you will not miss any single football game. They've got televisions galore in the showroom. Get by and see them off of I-459, exit 32. When we come back, we'll give you an update around the college football scoreboard, including an update from the Egg Bowl over in Starkville. That's next. It is 1:52. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We've been live today here on Three Man Front. We have an update from Starkville, Mississippi. They have entered the fourth and final quarter, 13:46 to go in that football game. And right now, Ole Miss, they lead 31-13 against Mississippi State. So Mississippi State needs to score a bunch in a hurry and stop Ole Miss. Meanwhile, what's the update, Molly? I'm not rubbing it in. I'm just asking because I did not see the score. The update between 33-16?
Yeah.
I was not rubbing it in.
No,
I honestly
I know.
did not know because
No,
I've
I
been
know.
watching that
You're
one.
good.
Yeah, so, and I guess now we can,
The hats didn't work.
the hat thing was
I
not.
took the hat off.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
and,
didn't.
and I do appreciate that because when Conrad took his hat off, that's when we lost.
Yeah,
so.
sorry, it didn't
But the hats didn't
mean
help this time.
anything. No.
I didn't want to do it, but Landrum made me do it.
You know what? I appreciate Landrum for that.
But hey, now we know that the hats don't mean anything.
I
you
did
know
not-
what? That's true.
I did it in protest. I said, I can't do that to Molly.
And you know what? And I appreciate that.
I don't want to do that.
Well, you did. So
I bet Landrum's still
But
wearing his
Landrum
hat on
made
the
me do
plane.
it.
no, I'm sure. You said you would sell yourself out for anything.
I did say that.
You did. I heard that.
I think we all know that all it would take to buy Pat is a helmet of whatever team you
You
wanted
better
him to
believe it.
support,
And a
and
hat.
he's had.
You better believe it.
Pat is 100% yours.
I mean, I came back from USC last year and brought you a hat from there.
I
And
know.
you loved it.
And I know. And I've worn it.
You're welcome.
'Cause
you could have ran out on the field and grabbed a real authentic one off the bench and brought
you
it back
could have,
to Pat.
Molly.
That's true.
Mm.
One of my bigger regrets in life.
Well,
All right. So in our remaining,
minute and a half.
minute and a half, we all think the Iron Bowl is going to be a close game.
Yep.
You've already given your score. Do you got a score?
I'll go. I took the under. So I'll go 20-17.
Oh, I was going to go 21-17.
Really?
Yeah, I was going 21-17 Alabama.
Sweet.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm 28-24 Alabama.
I'm in the school of Mike Rodak that Alabama will not make a field goal.
That's why I went 28. Yep. I'm just.
I could see the game being 17-14 Auburn and Alabama squeezing it out in the last second.
My gut feeling is I'm not saying it's going to be a field goal, but whether it's a kick return, a punt return, maybe Auburn fumble, Alabama will have a play on special teams tomorrow that helps them win the game.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to be, but that's been a big bugaboo for a lot of people, and I could see tomorrow that is a reason they win.
Well, keep it tuned. Should
We'll
be an
see.
interesting weekend. See if the Auburn Tigers name a head football coach this weekend. For Molly, Conrad, Landrum on assignment, I'm Pat. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday at 10 a.m. here on Jocks.